everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hey Hire Us with your hosts, Ariel
and Abigail.
Yay!
Yay!
Today we have a very special guest, a friend we met at CTN very randomly in line waiting for the Tongo House panel. We have our good friend Dani.
Hello, it's
Yay!
me. We formed the Taco House circle.
Yes.
We literally met in line as Abby and I were just sitting and waiting, and Dani comes in and hey, can we sit with you?
Yeah.
Beautiful
You
friend.
forgot the +1.
Oh, you're right. With Sean, who will be in
a future guest.
episode. Yeah.
But yeah,
Dani, if you can ring him.
We will ring him. He said yes, so look forward to that. But Dani, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do to our listeners?
Hello, I'm Dani Tracy, and I literally do everything. My whole thing is I have too many hobbies. So at my core, I'd probably say I'm an illustrator, but I'm also a fashion artist, a plush designer, a rug maker. That's a new one. A textile, clay artist. Just any art. If it's new, I'm just like, hello. I just picked up painting shoes.
Ooh, yeah, your shoes are so good.
Cool.
Yo.
Yeah,
Wow.
I have them sitting over there.
I love hobbies.
Dani has so many great qualities, but while we were stalking Dani, trying to look up things to talk about, we noticed that you don't have a resume, and we're like, Dani, on your site at least.
I have one to submit to studios, but pretty much the only thing on there. I worked at an art museum when I was I don't know, a teen. And besides that, it's pretty much just 8 years of freelance.
Dang.
Okay, you can say that, but this is why we're bringing you here, because this will be your resume. But you might say that, but that's still really good qualities to have and put on a resume. And I'm like,
my resume is just going to be 8 years of freelance, and then that podcast I was on that one time.
Yes.
Yep, that's gonna be it. Ooh, freelance. So
that's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, freelance is essentially everything right now, and kind of what I'm dabbling in ish.
Yeah.
So, I love it. It's it's always been my life dream.
That's interesting. But before we get into that, we have to do our first corner that we forgot to do last episode, so I don't want to forget it. Is the pitching corner. And I don't know if you listened to the episode I sent or know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so to our listeners who this might be your first episode, we have a little corner that we do where our guest comes in and they pitch themselves, but in a fun way, either through an infomercial style or rap, or we added a Broadway style, or you can do ASMR or spoken word.
Where did the ASMR come from?
ASMR is basically Abby's thing. She does it every time we record, and I'm like, please stop.
Oh, I cannot.
I know you have a microphone. Do not abuse your power.
If I wasn't on mic audio, I'd just pick up a glass jar and start.
So, have you prepared something for us?
I have. This is one of my selling qualities. Here's my job pitch right now.
Yes.
I always come in prepared, and I will spend hours toiling on research before even coming through. And I thought of something that hello, I'm taking my opportunity, and I will be the showstopper today. So
yes, that's the energy we need.
Oh my god.
So excited. I absolutely will trip over my words. But I'll do my best attempt.
Hey.
Yes, you're excited.
All right. I don't need a beat, but just let me know when I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go
just
right now?
Go.
Okay. Yo, Dani Tracy, she was just 23 when her friends asked her to be a nominee, a podcast to hear an artist's struggles. She's going to get a job because she's Dani Tracy. When it didn't quite work, she didn't give up. Dani was determined to feel less stuck. She started a small shop, collected some change. Now her whole life plans are all rearranged.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my God.
We got a fast kind of rap right now.
That was great.
Yeah, I could keep going for the next like 4 verses, but I'll spare you.
Oh my gosh, you're so prepared. We love it.
Danny, you should send us the entire like transcript.
Yeah.
Like in case
Oh, I
anyone
will.
wants to learn.
We will post it then on the Twitter and Instagram.
Lyrics to Danny's rap available.
Everyone learn it.
Yeah, so shout brownie points to anybody who got the reference, but I just rewatched and then proceeded to make Sean watch the entirety neglecting the 3rd season of Danny Phantom.
I got it. I was like, this is very much Danny Phantom vibes. I was like, should I say it? Am I
This is Dani
Yeah.
Tracy.
Me as a
Ayo.
yeah, me as a child watching Danny Phantom, I was like, that's me. I'm Danny Phantom. And then spoilers later down the line, he gets the false sister, and I'm like, that's me.
Oh
You're
my
living
God.
your Danny Phantom dreams now.
Mhm.
Every day.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now we have to do a whole production just with Dani Tracy, like a version with like
Yes,
all
please.
animated.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
I love Ghost. I found out last night that my cousin is living in a haunted house, and I'm like, please let me over.
Oh my gosh.
I need to live my dream.
But yeah, thank you for joining us and being a guest on our podcast. We're so honored to have you on.
Yeah, it'll be so much
Yay.
fun.
We're so excited. But yeah, like we said before, we met Danny at CTN, and I feel like it was it was so funny, and I don't know, it was a relationship that we still held on like how many years like later that it's been, because I don't know.
It's either been 2 or 3. I think
Almost 2, I think. Yeah.
I thought it was almost 3.
I'm thinking it's 3 because I think this year would have been the 3rd.
Yeah, this has been the 3rd
Event.
year that, because we met the first
God, it only
year.
feels like,
Second
I don't
year.
know, 5 days.
It's crazy.
Wow, no kidding. Yeah, this would have been the 3rd
my
like
God,
event
yeah.
we would have like seen each other. Whoa.
Man, so sad we
Times.
couldn't.
Yeah, it's
Time's
weird to think about.
flying. Oh my gosh.
Except, first off, if we name drop them again, they should give us money. But also, I think that they might be like kaput. So, hey, Lightbox, sponsor us.
No, Lightbox is gonna come back better than
Stronger.
ever next year, and we're gonna meet at Lightbox
I'm so
because me and
excited.
Ariel
Yeah,
still
you
haven't
guys
been.
didn't go last year.
No, we haven't.
And there were critiques to be had, but like Lightbox was amazing.
Yeah, I want to go.
It was
I
really
wanna
good.
go so badly. But yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Danny is so. We were talking about this like while trying to think about things to talk about for this episode. It's like you're so good at networking and just
Yeah.
like vibing, and also,
I have a guest. I'm sorry.
yeah, Danny has a cat, so if you hear him meow.
Yes,
Yeah.
you'll probably still hear it no matter what. Yeah, I just love like meeting and talking to people. I have a really weak voice, so I always like lose it during those events. But I just love connecting with people.
Yeah, you're
Aw,
so
that's
genuine,
nice.
and it makes me like I admire you so much because like even if like the person's really high profile, you have like no fear, and you're always like, I have my
Yeah.
business card, I'm gonna jump to it, and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm Danny.
Literally.
Here it is.
Literally,
Oh
that's
my
the
God.
first thing I thought of, like, when Abby and I were, like, brainstorming for this episode. I was like, no, the first thing we talk about is, like, Danny just having no fear and being like, hello, I am Danny, here's my business card, to, like, people we all, like, admire.
You say that, and first off, like I don't have any fear because I walked up to Jorge, who did El Tigre and such.
Oh my
And
god.
we just had a panel, and he was walking out, and there was like, I don't know, 20 people trailing him, and I just walked up to him, and me and Sean just had like a 5-minute conversation while all these other people were gathered around just staring at him. I'm like, he's just a guy, you can just talk to him.
That's
but-
true.
A story that I love it because I would not have known better if it wasn't for Sean. We were at Lightbox and we were in the artist's alley, and earlier in the day, Sean was somewhere else, and then I was just looking around and stuff, and there was this really nice guy, and I just walked up and we were looking at art, and he started talking to me, and we had a really great like 10-minute conversation just like talking about art and what was going on and stuff. And then I was like, oh hey, yeah, see you around, whatever, I just saw you some random dude. And then later we were in the hall, and Sean looked over and he went, oh hey, that's the Odd Ones Out. And I went, so that's the other part of it, is that I just don't know who people are.
That's great because I feel like you don't have really because with networking it's kind of hard because you don't want to there's like some people who might have like an ulterior motive, and you don't want to feel like that, and that's why people are worried to network. But for you, you're just like, I'm just gonna do it and just like act like they're a normal person and just have a conversation. And you do it to everyone. It's not just people who are like really high profile. You do it to like even just like us. We were just hanging out, we're just talking, we're trying to break in together. It's like you treat everyone really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that you mentioned act, because to me it's not like I get that there's this sense of like being starstruck, because even you meet so many people at these. Another one I can think of is like Loish and stuff like that. I saw her, I talked to her, and they're just artists. They're just people who had a hobby and wanted to make it into a job, and they're just the same as all of us. So it's interesting to walk up and ask them like, oh my god, you're great at art, how did you do that? But at the same time, their answer is probably the same as the one that you could give yourself.
Yeah, and it's like, instead of asking questions that they get a lot at panels, you can just be like, oh hey, so what did you eat? Like, how was your day? Like, what did you eat?
What did you have for lunch?
Like, more just casual thing.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I think there is a respect thing there, because it is, I don't know, it's just, I'm sure they do feel put up on a pedestal, and sometimes they just want that human element of just like, yo, what booth did you like?
Yeah, like what did you like at the convention?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have like tips for people to like think about when trying to network and like or just to make connections, even just on the same level at conventions?
I see, something I notice a lot is people just I mean, there is a lot. If you've ever been to a panel, you will always see at the end of the panel, people like run to the stage. They rush the stage and they look at the person, they're like, business card, and they're trying to get the job or whatever. But sometimes it's even taking the L and not running up and giving the business card and just being like, loved your panel, you inspired my work, and leaving, and then hoping that you'll see them like the next day or the day after. So you have that connection of like, they recognize you, but now you have time to talk to them, instead of being like, well, I already gave them my business card, I don't want to bother them again. So there's the courteous thing of like, that is a risk because you might not see them again, but at the same time, now you have the establishedness of it, of like a reason to talk to them, I guess. And also, like, I'm
going in strong and like being like, hey, in your face.
Hey, I need a job.
Give me, you have no hiring power because you're the showrunner, but give me a job right now.
And I don't know, I'm quite empathic, so I always think of like how other people are feeling in the situation, just everything else. I'm always the person to make everybody else feel really comfortable. But you have to think about so many factors, like if this person is like a Noelle Stevenson or Matt Brawley or something like that, how many people have swarmed them, how many people have asked them for a job, how many, and just think about like, again, they're just a person. Just like give them a high five and duck out if you have to.
They just want to make cartoons.
Yeah, or if it's somebody who like you don't know them, just a random artist in the hall, be like, I like your style, or even be like, hey, do you have a portfolio that like, what do you do? Are you a character designer background? Just start talking to people.
That's what like helped me walk up to people, because I saw this girl with this really cute outfit. I'm like, hey, I like your outfit, and then we just started talking, and it's like, you know, you just hit it off like that.
That's why I dress so bizarrely, because I want people to talk to me.
Your outfits are always so good.
That's both of you, not gonna lie. That's both of you with your mega colorful outfits.
I need to grab this thing real quick just so you can see an explanation.
But yeah, no, for real. While Dani is grabbing things, I swear these two.
Yes.
Dani is showcasing a big giant plushie. It's great. But yeah, these two are like the most colorful people you will see. Like you can spot them from far away.
Yeah, I think, and it's not like everybody dresses that crazy. For instance, Sean, who we keep name dropping, who was my boyfriend of a handful of years, who is also a wonderful artist.
Yes.
He dresses in all black all the time. But standing next to me, well, also he has a weird hairstyle. So like people remember him because of that. And standing next to me, this little rainbow gremlin, people are like, what the fuck is up with those two? So
yeah,
So
the
moral of the
duo.
story is like when you're out, have like that one standout piece.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Especially,
I always remember, it's a philosophy that I've held since like middle school and high school because I was a really awkward teen. My thing was dressing in like video game t-shirts or like, oh my god, I had like wristbands that were like, what were they called? Sweatbands, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuzzy
yeah.
ones that I got from concerts and stuff. And I'm like, I'm an awkward teen that doesn't want anybody, like I don't want to go out of my way. I used to be really introverted. But if I had like an Assassin's Creed t-shirt on, maybe a dude would be like, yo, you fake gamer girl, you don't know anything about that. And then I'd be like, well,
No.
actually, and then we'd be friends.
So you've
So
just grown up like this with clapping. And I feel like having this, especially since you and Sean haven't gone to art school like everyone else, like you have to work really
yeah,
hard to make connections at these at these conventions because it's like your only chance to make industry
Yeah.
I guess that's
connections.
something that we can mention as well. So we both went to a community college in
Mm-hmm.
our small Nebraskan town. I say small Nebraskan town, even though it's the biggest town in Nebraska. Um, so we went to a community college for, he started in 3D and then he switched over to my major, which was illustration. Because I was literally, I swear to God, the only person in the entire school who was doing an illustration degree. That's how small it was.
Wow.
And it was not structured, it was free form. Illustration degree means like graphic design, and they didn't teach you anything. It was more performative, where they're like, here's your assignment, do it. And people, not to knock anybody's talent or ability, because it is like a work in progress. Everybody starts in a different place or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could turn in a honest to God stick figure and get an A for participation.
Yeah, it's since it's not art school, that's kind of like, you know, it seems.
Yeah, and it's like, it was the difference between a class being like $200 versus tuition being $60,000 a year or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Sure.
it was enough to get a degree, but it's definitely, I would, like, I've been drawing my entire life, and most of my stuff is dedicated studies outside of any education, quote unquote, that I got. So I typically say that I'm self-taught.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Um,
That's what we wanted to ask too, because your stuff is really solid and it's like industry level in my opinion. And how did you like get all that knowledge of doing turnarounds and things that are like for animation when you didn't really have the education at your community college?
Guessing and looking at other people's portfolios who did go to art school, and a lot of just blind suffering. I remember, it's still up on my Tumblr because I refuse to delete it, even though it brings me cringe every time I look at it. My first portfolio when I went to CTN, and it makes me ashamed knowing that I actually showed that to people.
Isn't that all of us with any of our old portfolios?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, Sean and I we didn't have somebody being like, here's how you make it, here's how you construct it. Even online people, online knowledge wasn't really, nobody was really telling you how to do it. So I just took about 20 of my best drawings and put those on each page. So like one portfolio was just visual garbage. So the next year, we got a little bit better, and the next year we got a little bit better, and it's just slowly progressed. But it really does help going to those events, especially if you can't afford schooling, or yeah, it's just, if you can't afford moving to a town that has a better art education program,
Mm-hmm.
or you can't afford art school or anything because, oh my gosh, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not worth it for the people who go through it too, and they only find that out after they spent $80,000.
Yeah.
Take that money that you're saving and go to these events.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We have learned so much just by going. I think that we've gone to CTN twice and Lightbox once.
Wow. I feel like you guys grown so much
I
just
agree.
from those 3
those
visits.
events really help.
And not gonna lie,
it's being in
Yeah.
the community.
and even as someone who went to art school, I honestly feel like I learned more from, the talks in those events and everything, like,
Mhm.
than the stuff I learned in class. Like
Yeah.
straight up, I'm just like, when I would go to my character design class in art school, but then after that, showing my work to CTN people, they're like, oh, you can actually just do this and streamline it better. I'm like, oh, they didn't teach me that in school.
So something I always hear when it comes to art school is, yeah, it's great and I had the structure and everything, but the main takeaway from art school is the people I met along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just circumvent that and go to these events where you can meet the people and not pay for the art school.
Literally,
That's true.
That's it, because you met like so many people. Like you met us, and we went to art school, made connections, but you bypassed all that by like meeting so many different people.
Yeah, I'd say now like 90% of my Twitter followers are SCAD students, so thanks for that.
That's what we're here for.
See, I got the full
It will
experience.
only grow
I didn't
more.
even
You
have to
got the
go.
SCAD experience without the STAT experience. No, but yeah, that's a really good advice, and I think that's really encouraging for people who feel like art school is like the only key, because especially now, especially with COVID kind of showing and having people, I feel like there's even more resources due to COVID. Like that's a blessing because so many studios and artists have been sharing a lot of industry advice, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite thing, the best reason to get a job right now is because you have the chance of working remote. So like an apartment here, you can get a really nice apartment for like $1,200 here. So that's like 2 to 3 bedrooms, and you have storage and living room and everything, versus in LA, where
to LA,
I think a studio apartment could be like $2,000.
Yeah.
So save the money.
That's definitely a conversation that I think is gonna happen, of like like kind of.
I know. I really hope that they allow studios stay remote, because I completely understand the in-studio experience and how different it must be to be around the people and get the work done. But at the same time, like, let me work remote so I don't have to go to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting to go and move to LA, that's such a big privilege, honestly.
Yeah.
Working in animation art is a huge privilege.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I don't think that's something that people really understand, because there has been a lot of talk about this recently, which is like this arbitrary number of like, I see all these young people in the animation studios, and I'm over the age of 21 and I don't have an industry job yet. And first off, like, that could be 1/5 of your life. Don't be so pressed if you don't have a job yet. I think there's not an age limit at all, and I understand comparing yourself to like these people who are so skilled and so young, but there's a lot of factors that really do impact that. I forgot the point that I was trying to make here, but it is just like these conversations are starting about, I don't know, just living in LA and the age and just all these different things that I think COVID really did like call into action.
Yeah, I think
I agree.
We also like really admire that you have a business on the side of just trying to apply to jobs. Like I looked at your store, which we will definitely link on Instagram and Twitter, and you should buy all the things because they're adorable. But you have 877 sales and like 5 stars, and that's like amazing.
Yeah, so that was probably like my main thing that I wanted to talk about. That right now I'm actually going through a rebrand, where I'm going to be adding thrift flips, stickers, and just like maybe some art prints and stuff. That's something I've always wanted to do, is like adding the art prints. items. But the thing that took off is the plushes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I've always loved textile design, and that's why I'm surrounded by sewing machines right now, and I love making clothing. It just happens that plushes are like the easier things to ship out.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I am somebody who always knew that they wanted to be an artist, and
Mm-hmm.
a memory that I always tell is me, like, when you're in elementary school and they're like, your teachers are like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up, so you can spend a month researching all of this arbitrary information and then tell it to the
Mm-hmm.
class. And I always said an artist,
Mm-hmm.
because I always wanted to be an illustrator. Back then I didn't even like think that people worked on cartoons, so I didn't want to, it wasn't like I want to be a character designer. I was just like,
Mhm.
artist, illustrator. My dad does a lot of art stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my teachers always told me that's not a real job. And then they make me research architecture, and I
Boo.
hate architecture.
No, what? That's
Boo.
sad.
But I I would always like begrudgingly do the research, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be an architect. I'm
Yeah.
going to draw. So I've always had this drive of like, no matter what, I'm going to sell my art. I don't care if
Mm-hmm.
I'm working for a studio. I don't care if I'm freelance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make money drawing.
Yeah.
And I was actually, it must be 3 years ago at this point, because I think I quit right before we went to our first CTN.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at a wonderful craft store that everybody in the US of A loves so much. And I worked there for about a year, and I just went through so much turmoil. Like, it was just
Mm-hmm.
bad. But I
Mm-hmm.
put up with it because, like, I needed the money. I wasn't doing anything else. And I got to a point where I'm just like, this sucks. I'm working at this craft store. Why don't I use my employee discount to get some like supplies and see if I can make something take off? And
Mhm.
I made my current shop right now, which is called Congrats Sunflower on Etsy and Instagram and everything else. I made a Mothman plushie, and just lucky for me, just the tides and the waters shifted, and like that niche became a thing. And then soon after, like,
Yeah.
Fallout 76 and everything came out, so everybody was hype on the Mothman, and I'm like, yes.
Yes.
I think I sold within my first month of like having them listed. I think I sold maybe like 10 to 20 of them.
Hmm.
And I was like,
Ooh.
okay, so there's a market. I could be a hack, and this could just be like a one-time thing, whatever. Um, but I hate working here, so I'm just going to quit my job and be a full-time Etsy person.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so I took the risk and I did that, and that's
Mhm.
just been my full-time job ever since, is just doing
Wow.
Etsy. So something, and especially with Sean too, because he has wonderful illustrations, even though he says he's not an
Yes.
Yes.
illustrator, I will fight him. I would say to anybody who they feel like maybe their art isn't good enough for studio level, or they keep putting these applications out and nothing is coming from it, and they just want that validation. Literally, like, you don't even have to print it yourself and have an Etsy. Just get like an imprint or something. Like, put your art for sale, and then you're making money off of your art.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
might not be in the way that you want, but even if your illustrations take off, and I get not everybody's an illustrator. Like me personally, I love character design.
Mhm.
But sometimes you can just draw a really cute character on a blank background and it'll still sell. Like, you still get that validation, and maybe your whatever you've put up for sale does well enough that that's the way that your name gets out.
Mhm.
Because an
Mm-hmm.
artist that you really like happens to buy one of your prints, and now every time somebody sees the wall of art behind them, it's your print sitting on their wall.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's other ways to feel fulfilled in art, which I know is like it's trying times right now.
Yeah.
When everybody is just kind of sad because none of us have jobs and nobody's hiring.
Yeah, that's why we made this podcast.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like that was like the reassurance I needed.
Yeah, Ariel.
Like,
Yeah, it's different. Oh, you can talk if you were gonna say
no,
something.
I'm just like, I really needed to hear that because like lately I'm just like, maybe like freelance is really the way for me.
Oh, I love
I'm, like in a long,
freelance.
like I don't know, like COVID is just like opening my eyes to like many things.
Yeah, I think there is that validation of having a salary through a big studio. And it is like I would love if Disney hired me just so I could put that on, like I could wear a little pin that said, hey,
Yeah.
I worked for Disney, and then go back to all my elementary school teachers and be like, ha, it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Architect, you said, look at this.
Yeah, but it's, if you're feeling bogged down with your art, you just need to find the thing that will help you get out of that. I don't care if it's like you go back to watching your favorite childhood anime and draw the fan art of your young waifu, like something. But even like social media right now, they keep changing all the algorithms and stuff. Instagram, goodbye for my art. It's just not.
It's not worth it.
Yeah,
it's like I still love Instagram, and I use it a lot for my fashion things, and I have a lot of really good friends on Instagram, and I will never betray it because it's like my OG. But I've actually returned to Tumblr lately.
Yeah, I feel like you have been
actually
returning to Tumblr.
I was gonna say, like, I saw discussions like, so are we all moving back?
Yeah. Well, my theory is that everybody who was a degenerate on Tumblr grew up and then got Twitter. So now Twitter's the hell site, and now all the nice people are going back to Tumblr.
That's what I heard. But yeah, I feel like I like that whole mindset that you're having of like try to figure out what you think is making it for you or worth it for you, because like sometimes you don't need the validation of working at a big studio. If it's just working on your small store or working on your just Patreon and you're making a livable wage, it's totally fine to be like, hey, I actually don't want to work for a studio and this is what I want to do. There's no shame in that.
Yeah
Like for me, it's just I don't even have the concepts to fathom what it is working at a studio. Like I've never been in that kind of environment, and I would love the opportunity, obviously, and I don't even care. I would love to work for a small studio. I've looked at game studios, like indie games and stuff like that. I would love just to, because I love characters. I may not be like the most technically versed in how to do all the turnarounds and stuff, but I could learn. Hire me, I'll learn. But I love like making the character, and
I feel that.
Yeah, and I feel oh goodness, it's just different stuff. Like a big studio, being a character designer is going to be a lot more slim of a job, and you're going to be doing a lot more of the technical, the turnarounds, the I can't remember what they call it, the cleanups or whatever, when just the advice, and maybe even showing how to put it into 3D. Meanwhile, a small indie game studio is just like, here's your baby, make it work for the story and work with us, basically.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're a really good artist for like smaller studios because you're so versatile. I feel like your style.
I'm straight up. You tell me to draw a character 4 times, and you're going to get.
There's no negativity here, Danny.
That's fine.
Oh, it's not negative. It's just you'll start with like a solid design of a character, and then the more comfortable I get, the more just like 90s moe anime it will get.
No, but I mean that's also like if any like indie games or like indie visual novels are into that moe anime, Danny's your girl. But
yes,
when I saw your
me.
portfolio, I was like, I feel like you have like obviously the anime kind of style going for you, but you also can do like cartoony and also can do like with the cowboys, like something more serious and painterly, which I thought was really cool to see.
Yeah, in fact, last night I'm working on a zine that's actually due today, but
Ooh.
I'll have to send you a photo of that because just out of nowhere, my art style changes every time I pick a new brush on Photoshop. That's really what
That's a
determines it.
big mood. That's a big,
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
So last night I think it's a Kyle Webster gouache brush, and suddenly I'm a a lineless art style artist, and it just out of the woodworks I'm just like it's a new day.
It's a new me.
So
much.
I've unlocked a new art talent that I didn't know I had just because I picked a new
Yeah.
brush on Photoshop.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
so
I love
funny.
when that happens.
That's so relatable.
But
Yeah.
I guess we have. What were you saying?
I was going to think you mentioned something about my portfolio I was going to bring up as well.
Yeah, take your time.
Oh, we'll be here all day.
We need keywords, adaptability, you're versatile.
Oh, I was going to talk about anime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's get into a quick anime side tangent. So, as before mentioned, I always wanted to be an artist,
Mhm.
but I never grew up watching anime. I loved, obviously I watched Toonami because I never had a bedtime. Even now, I go to bed at 4 or 5 a.m.
Oh my
and I
goodness.
get up at 10. It's fine. So even as a child, I never had a bedtime.
Mhm.
And, I was in elementary school and I'd go to bed at 2 a.m. It's fine. It's how my family works. So obviously I'd be up and I'd watch Toonami and stuff like that. But I never really remember consciously watching an anime that was me invested in something. I remember seeing Sailor Moon and seeing Dragon Ball and seeing Totoro and stuff like that. But which is funny because your last podcaster talked about this as well. But I think what really sparked that love, or kind of showing a different style of it, was Avatar and even Teen Titans. But still, I had this thing until I think I was in 8th or 9th grade. I might have been in 9th grade. So I always love fashion and fashion design and stuff like that. Even though I used to be a horrible I hate pink, I am tomboy, do not talk to me about girly stuff. But I loved fashion design, so all of my art was super realistic. All I did was studies, and I think that you asked oh, why is your art it's just surprising for somebody who didn't go to a formal art school or anything. And I think that's it, because as a kid I thought people who drew anime were bad people who didn't care about the foundations of art. So I spent all my time doing figure studies and looking at fashion designers, and I had these really looking back on them now, really bad, but very exaggerated and very realistic and scary looking drawings. And it wasn't until I think it was 9th grade that my friend was like, oh my god, I just found this new anime, it's so good, you need to watch it, you'll love it. And I was like, I'm not gonna watch anime. Only losers watch anime. So, in secret, without telling him, and I kept it from him for a while. The anime he was talking about was Bleach. And I watched an episode, and me, little angry 9-year-old, I'm like, this is gonna suck, but I have to see what he's talking about. And then I think I spent a month watching 250 episodes of Bleach.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I was gone. At that moment, only anime. I was like, I'm an anime artist. I love anime. What else can I watch?
That's so
I had this.
I love that story.
You always have teachers being like, you can't draw anime. And me, I was like, you can't do it.
But then you were shown a new light.
That's great. So that's awesome.
I think that's really the adaptability of my art style.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
I had the foundation, and then I switched to anime.
Yeah,
and now
you built on it.
My art style kind of lays in between both of those.
Yeah.
But lately I've just been embracing it. It's just anime. It's just
just embrace it.
Yeah.
I remember you were kind of struggling when we last talked about you're I don't know if studios want this kind of style, But I feel like more and more, like, are at least like in TV shows, everyone embracing their weeb side and
The
their love
thing,
for anime.
oh, I will never forget the last CTN that we went to. There it is, pay us CTN. But I had a portfolio review of Powerhouse,
Mhm.
and the guy was going through my portfolio, and he was pointing out like the designs that he liked and stuff like that, and he stopped on my page of like my gruff cowboys that I love because I
Yeah.
love drawing grumpy old men.
Yeah.
And he stopped on that page and he was like, oh, these are really great, and he's going through and he's like, yeah, just kind of talk about the studio and stuff. And I was like, haha, yeah, next year I'll have to include some more of my hot anime boy drawings as a joke. And he went, oh, do you have those? Because I'd like to see them. And I stood there and I was like, oh, I don't have any of them with me.
Oh my
That would have gotten me the job.
That's so funny.
So
Little
from
did
then
we
on out,
know.
I'm just like, only hot anime boys in the portfolio.
You're ready.
That's
You're ready
great.
now.
I love this. Moral of the story
Yeah.
again, put everything
Yeah.
you want in your portfolio.
Yes.
I mean,
somebody will hire you.
Yeah.
moving on to something that's not as happy, which we always do for each episode, is how's the job hunt going?
I don't know. I'm so much of a free spirit. Hearing you guys talk about it and like hearing anybody I'm in contact with right now who's majority Sean, it's just like I feel like everybody's sad about jobs right now because as
Mhm.
before mentioned, like it's it's weird
It's just a weird
'cause
time.
Mhm.
yeah, some studios aren't hiring because of COVID, and then other studios are hiring, but it's always like limited to spots or whatever. It's just like these very small pools of whatever, and it's kind of like even if you know somebody to help you get in, it's not going to really work right now because nobody's in studio. So honestly, I just kind of like if something shows up, I'm just like, here's my stuff.
That's
See ya,
good.
and then I
That's
just like
good.
phase into a cloud.
I feel like Danny's just vibing because you fully just embraced the freelance life. You're
Oh,
like,
I do vibe.
all right.
You're like,
I will
oh.
say, this might be a weird tangent, but I am a you're gonna be like, I am a practicing Wiccan. So spell jars are in the process of being made of like good luck charms for getting jobs. But it's more so for like people I know in my life than me, because I'm just like, I'm gonna put it out there and maybe I'll get some in return. It's fine. Give me
out
all
in
the
the
bay
world.
leaves.
Put it out in the world. Love it.
I mean,
So-
I'm glad that you're doing a lot better and like vibing. That's always good to hear. That's
Yeah.
encouraging to hear because we don't want this to, I mean, we always joke about this being very depressing when we ask this question, but I like being surprised by friends who are like, yeah, I'm actually doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
I think it is because I have the reliance on my shop and my 6,000 other creative outlets that I have. It gets to a point sometimes where, like when we're kids, often artists, like you draw because it's what you love, it's your passion in life. And then when you try to turn that into a job, it's like sometimes like art kids, the only thing they care about and their only like relaxation is drawing.
Yeah.
But then when you want to turn that into your job, you lose that sense of like drawing for fun. And you're like
Yes, I
only
agree.
drawing for the portfolio, you're only drawing to get the job that you want.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you strip away the one coping mechanism that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we've mentioned
So
this before, but yeah, it's like your job is your hobby, but your hobby is your job. It's like that's the thing about being an artist.
Yeah, and then I think that leads to burnout as well. So I'm a
Yeah.
big advocate for one, selling your art and making a small shop. Two, get new hobbies.
Yes,
Find
that's
something that
good.
relaxes you.
Yeah.
And like even this podcast could be a hobby for you because it is like it's something different. It might not be always the most fun, but it's still a rewarding thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think relaxing is a big thing for artists.
It should
That's
be.
for sure.
But yeah. So, what would your like dream project be if you could like spearhead something? I'm like, this is what I want to make in the world.
I have a magnum opus in the works,
Ooh.
which if man, we really just need to talk like over Discord or whatever more.
Mhm.
We
'Cause
should do that.
I am such a story person. I've only taken one storyboard class in my life,
Yeah.
and everybody said I was really good at it, and then I'm just like, who is she?
Dani, I totally agree with that statement because I feel like your style and just your gestures could really translate well to being a story artist.
I need to
That's my
get back to it. The main thing is just the program. I haven't downloaded any place for me to actually draw. I have a nice computer now. I really should do that.
Do it. I want to
But
see your boards.
give me the hints afterwards, and I'll
Yeah,
download
yeah.
one. So it's like the other night I've been wanting to do a comic, just a short comic, so I can start paneling and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I need a story, and I don't want to use the other 12 stories that I have. I need something new. And then I just thought about one, and I wrote one in an hour. I have
Nice.
literally me thinking of stories just comes, I'm so character based that I'm just like character, conflict, make it happen. I have so many stories just like laying around. And something else I've noticed is that I cannot progress on a story unless I know the name of the character.
That's
I'm
me.
like-
the opposite of me. I'm bad at
That's
naming
me.
characters.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
like, if they
gosh.
don't have the name, they're nobody.
Yeah,
Who is
exactly.
she?
Oh my gosh, that's me.
Yeah.
Another
Also-
weird thing, okay, random. Another weird thing is like for me when I make a character, I have to visualize how they write their penmanship.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
That's just a random thing. Anyway, moving on. This is not my episode.
No, I love that. I love to hear about that too. Yeah, if I don't know their name, they don't exist. I'm so focused on what that is.
Mhm.
But my big project that I've been working on, because I've obviously I've had stories since I was a wee lass. But I've always had like characters. I've always been character focused. So I would always like design them, but then not know what to do with them.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the full story of this later because I would have to pull up the drawings and show examples.
Yes, I want to see.
My main story that I've been working on, oh my god, probably for 3 years now. Because
Wow.
I think I came up with it. Oh man, I think I came up with it before the first CTN, and I had like the first drafts up. So it's called Juice Drop, and it's about people who work at a juice store, but also they're magical dragon girls and boys and in
Yes.
between. And it has to be the magnum opus because it's one of those stories that it's just like it's not contained to the town. There's a whole other fantasy dimension that goes with it, and like
I love
6,000
it.
characters and royal bloodlines and everything. And I had one of my friends ask, because I post about it on my Instagram every now and then, and I had one of my friends ask like, oh my god, when are you gonna start like working on it? I really want to see the comics and stuff like that. And I'm like, come back to me in 5 years and maybe I'll have the first half of the script done.
Oh my gosh.
So that would be like my Cartoon Network pitch, my Netflix pitch.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. We're definitely gonna retweet this because I
Yes.
love the drawings for this.
Yeah,
The work
and
you
again,
have.
they're all up on my portfolio, and I have loose drawings and stuff on I'm actually working on one right now on my Photoshop, but
We will be linking all her links.
Yeah.
we-
I have
post
so
the
many.
episodes,
I have
so-
so many links.
That's
But
fun.
yeah, yes, we will definitely link all this. But I think that's this is a good time to go to our Would You Rather corner.
Yes.
Lovely.
The fun one. For the first time ever, I thought of the devil question. Well, it's not really a devil question. It's
I'm
actually-
surprised.
but
I'm
like
curious to see what you guys came up with.
it's not. I don't
Ooh.
think it's that
I don't-
bad, but
It was kind of hard because I'm like, oh, I don't know. But
because
we'll
again,
see.
Danny, where is your resume? But it's fine. But okay, so for my question, it's would you rather be a costume designer for a character, but the project is set in a time period whose fashion you actually hate, versus you getting to design really cool outfits, but they have no connection to the story, and the stories will then suffer from including these designs?
Oh my God.
And the studio forces you to do that.
Yeah, the studio forces you
See-
to do that.
See, here's the issue with me. Both of those sound wonderful, and I'll take them both on right now.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Yes.
Guess I'm not
I
much
just,
of a demon after all.
No, I think the issue's with me. So I just finished Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is my current fixation, which, by the way, shout out to Twitter, because I've never had anything reblogged on Twitter until I did 3 things with Dimitri, and I'm like, yes, I'm Twitter famous with my 100 notes. But the end, I'm not going to spoil anything, but actually I think 2 of the routes have it. The end, there's just this curveball, and Fire Emblem Three Houses is medieval, Eastern kind of all this stuff, European rather, not Eastern. And then it just it's here's this, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting that at all. So that's kind of what you were describing with the outfits that don't connect. And
Yeah.
I'll do it. I love fashion. I'm not the best at costume design, but I will sit through 6,000 textbooks and learn how to do it.
Nice.
So you don't have any era of clothing that you really despise, the fashion?
The only one I can think of is caveman. I'd make it fashionable
Caveman.
though.
I
I'll
would
work
like
on
to
the
see
Cruise
this
3.
challenge.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good
great.
for studios if you're listening.
Yeah.
Danny will work on anything and everything. So hi.
Oh my god, give me $5 and clout and I'll do it.
I will be doing the angel question, which is, would you rather work as a character designer on a magical girl show that gets outfits merchandised for a massive audience, you get to see all these people wearing your outfits and whatever, or work on a smaller indie project where you are the main seamstress, costume designer, and you make the outfits
Oh,
yourself?
I do love both of those. I think I would gladly take either of them.
You gotta pick one. It's would you rather.
Yeah, but I think I would do the magical girl, the first one,
Ooh.
because somebody who has passive love for Cardcaptor Sakura, and just the amount that people put into loving her outfits and all of her changes, and just it's not just like Sailor Moon where they really, I mean, Serena has a handful of outfits, or rather Usagi, oof. But Cardcaptor really
So
sticks out to
good.
me, because every single time she has a whole closet full of magical girl outfits.
It's amazing.
And seeing people draw her in the different eras, and just the cosplayers.
Yes.
So
Having
I would
people
take both,
cosplay your
but
work.
I think I would take another one that I think of is Pretty Cure, which is a more obscure Japanese magical girl anime. But again, just the characters, they're absurd. I would love to draw absurd magical girls whose costumes do not make sense.
Oh, we
Hell
love
yeah.
it.
That's fun.
If you want to see more of that absurd character design, definitely look at Danny's work for her magical girls and boys, because it's wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think this is a
good time
good
to
spot
close.
to end. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Danny,
Thank you,
for joining
Danny.
us. You did so great.
Yeah, we talked for a while. It's amazing. But
yeah, hopefully you can cut down on all of my rambling.
But
No, we're keeping it.
We're keeping it. It's very
Oh
interesting.
no.
So where can people find you? Where can people hire you? Shares your link.
So you can hire me by just throwing a rock into the forest, and then it will be delivered to my house. It's kind of like Amazon, but better. Just write your information on it and I will receive it. You can find me, I believe, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr is all at Dreamaru, which they'll hopefully link down below so you know how to spell that.
Linking
Yes,
And then
we will.
also My Etsy and my Instagram, and I think a Tumblr as well, I have at Congrats Sunflower and also Congrats Sunflower Shop. And I will be adding more stuff to that soon. My arbitrary like day of releasing new stuff is like December 15th, somewhere around there.
Yes,
Really, I'm
Ooh.
just I'm designing business cards, and it's taking me too long because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on business cards that I hate.
That's true.
But yeah, everyone, once Dani releases new stuff, support small businesses right now.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
very important.
and not just mine. Any artist that decides that they want to start a small shop, please give them money in this trying holiday season.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, definitely you get to see like you'll get to, if you buy something from Dani's store, you'll get to see the customer service in the amazing store and like the
Yes.
wonderful products. So definitely
I
support
do my
Dani.
best.
Hell
I-
yeah.
You get a handmade boy full of love and spooky energy.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
So-
thank you guys for listening. If you want to support us, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Hey Hire Us Pod, and you can support us financially through our Ko-Fi, which is ko-fi/Hey Hire Us Pod. And yeah, if you want to support the two hosts, we haven't really been plugging ourselves, but I'm
Yeah,
on
that's
Twitter and
true.
Instagram at Abigail, Ebbigal, with an underscore for Instagram, and Ariel.
Yes, I am at Yelly Draws, which is YELLIE draws on everything, literally just everything.
Yeah.
Man, now I feel like I should spell mine out. I was just lazy. I'm like, you guys can deal with it.
It's okay. We'll be plastering it
We'll
everywhere.
put it in the episode description too. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can see it in the description. But
Yeah.
Fun.
Thank you
That's it.
for
Thank
listening
you,
to us.
Dani.
Please
Thank
hire
you for
Dani.
having me.
Please hire Dani, and thank you everyone for listening. Bye.
Bye. Yay.
Amazing.